Well, I've got some serious news to talk about today. What I'm seeing happening, and this whole thing with Donald Trump, I'll be straight up front with everybody. I did not vote for Donald Trump. I did not vote for Hillary Clinton, but I certainly didn't vote for her. However, I didn't vote for Donald Trump, and so I'm not a big Trump supporter. Never bought a hat. I don't wear the hat. I don't have a T-shirt. I don't have any paraphernalia. I didn't give to the campaign. I've tried to stay out of this time and try to stay objective because I didn't have a horse in this race this time. I set in the interesting perspective of not having anyone that I really was going to support this time. So I did a little experiment this time. My state voted for Trump overwhelmingly. And I knew that was going to happen. So I wasn't too concerned about it. I ended up, well, anyway. So I tried to stay as independent as I could. Now, what I'm finding, it's given me a different perspective on what is going on in terms of trying to see if it was a very good exercise in objectivity. And what I'm seeing on both sides right now is you have this over-the-top, Trump is the Messiah attitude that we saw in 2008 in that election when a certain individual was elected that people thought was going to be the Messiah. It's very stomach-turning. Same thing this year. It's stomach-turning. When I see that people just blindly accept that this guy is going to fix everything, that it's a new day, it's a new era. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that things will be better. Maybe not. And I really am. I'm certainly more relieved than I would have been if someone else would have won this election. However, all of that having been said, there are still the people on both sides that are entrenched in their candidate and putting all their faith and hope and trust and everything. They're hanging all their celebrations on one side or the other. What I am seeing right now is disturbing to me. We are in the midst and the beginnings of a civil war. And it's not going to be a war yet that is fought on the battlefield of flesh and blood. This is going to be a war that initially starts, at least, with a war of information and disinformation and misinformation. I found out last night about the Trump report that there was this thing from, and I heard about it. Right away I looked into it. I've got pretty good sources that are pretty credible and very dependable that were saying where this information came from, and you start looking in behind the whole story, and you read the whole article, not just the headline, and you hear that, okay, this was a BuzzFeed article, this was from someone who wasn't, I mean, all of the background information on this story just started to fall apart when you start reading into it, and it's like, this has about a 1% chance of being real, and maybe if that. I mean, I was being generous with 1%. But I knew that when I woke up this morning, my first thought was, I'm going to check social media and see what some of my supposedly left-wing centrist friends were going to say. And sure enough, it was off the charts. These people who claim to be centrist, who are left-wing soaked. I mean, it is amazing the things that they will say. They were going into it. And they were getting this whole thing going about how, oh, I woke up to this morning, and oh, Donald Trump is blah, 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 blah. Oh, he did all these things, and he did all that. Oh, how it's disgusting and despicable. He's truly deplorable. That was and so they went on and on and on. Of course, everybody piled in with all their friends. And there were only a couple people who kind of disagreed with them. I didn't post anything. I'm tired of that. It doesn't matter. You get on Facebook and you feel like you've changed the world by posting something on someone's account, and all it does is continue to stir up problems like this person was doing. And they think they're changing the world by posting on their little Facebook page with what they have, 50 friends or something? I don't know, some ridiculous. It's like there's 300 million people in this country, and you really don't have much of an impact now, do you? I mean, I'm not trying to belittle somebody who wants to post on there. Look at me. I got like 3 followers. So, it's not like Not like it's a big deal for me, and it does give me some kind of an outlet, and I'm trying to build up my response. But here's the thing. It does not bring reconciliation to our nation, and it doesn't affect, the only thing it does is affect the people around me and puts me in a box with them. They're the people that are closest to me, the people I care about the most, who are going to write me off, or I'm going to write them off. I'm going to get in this big argument about somebody who doesn't care about me, who doesn't care about either one of us. So the people I have relationships with, including I consider my viewers, people I have at least a one-sided relationship with, you feel free to respond and chat and talk and whatever you need. But I really am kind of disgusted by this war that is being stirred up on the left by people in power on the left. Here's what I see happening. The Civil War will start with information. It will start with words. It will start with a discredit campaign against Donald Trump. And what they're going to try to do, and this is what's spooky to me, is that the CIA and the other 16 different security organizations that are huge and funded by billions of dollars are appointed. There are people who are appointed in those organizations in key positions. Now you have to understand how the NSA and the CIA and the DHS and TSA, and all of the alphabet soup organizations, how they are set up in the security world. They are in cells. They don't, you don't just walk down the hallway and pop into somebody else's office that's in charge of something else. Nobody talks about what they do unless they are talking within their security cell. So I'm not talking about a physical cell. I'm talking about a group of people. And so there's this group, and inside that group, who's secure with information within that group. Any information that travels in or out of that particular cell group is done through one person. It's done via certain channels, and there's just there's high-level information going here and there. There's other information that's not. There's all kinds of different levels of information. That information travels around. There's general bulletins. There's just like there is in any organization. But basically, it's like skunk works. It's nobody knows. You might be given a part of a letter to work on to encrypt or to diagnose or whatever you're trying to do with it, and somebody else, some other cell group, might get something else, and they don't know what they're even looking at. They don't know whose it is. There's information that's redacted. There's information, and they're called in to check on this information or research whatever it is. They don't know what it's from or who it's to or who's doing it. So all that stuff is kept at a general working level, very, very confidential, even within the organization. So you've got certain key people in charge of and in control of this information, and they can screw with it. It's a government within itself. It's like a shadow government pulling the strings. Imagine if we had a president who was being fed this has never happened. Who was being fed information that was fake or false that starts a war. Oh, gee, that's never happened. Iraq. So it's kind of spooky to me, and I have a lot of respect for the president. If I was in the president's position right now, I would not trust the CIA. Period. I know that's like blasphemy to people on the left right now. Oh, you wouldn't trust our security, our sources and our intelligence agents. You wouldn't trust them. They're going out there and risking their lives. This is the same CIA that you were blasting about 9-10 years ago, 12 years ago. And so these same people are coming out now and saying that it's unpatriotic to, how disgusting that you can't trust these people. It's one of those trust but verify things. And I think we're leading in when I got up this morning, social media was exploding with this whole thing about Trump. That gets out there, and people are so quick because they are so emotionally charged about this guy and the situation and all their hurtness over the last election that they want to, and right away people are calling for him to resign. Oh, he's got to step down, blah, 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 blah. No, he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to do that. So who says he does? And it's just this immediate thing of when you're discredited or whatever it is that you will step down. He's not going to do that. Get over it. He's not going to do it. I mean, unless he commits some act that's a federal crime here, and he's not going to. The political correct stuff isn't going to work on this guy. You're not going to say, well, he called so and so a name, and therefore, he's that's not him at all. So it ain't going to happen. And I'm concerned that this information war, because it's going to get some traction on the left, because there's a blind rage right now on the left that they will believe anything that comes out, anything that's negative towards Trump. And of course, anything that comes, and the left is full of misinformation, made up stories, people who want to try to make a name for themselves. And right now there is no critical thinking and there is no objectivity. And that is the only thing that will win this war. Now I say we keep holding Donald Trump, President-elect Trump, accountable for everything he does. Everything he says, everything he does. Everything his administration does. Hold him accountable to the law. It should be a nation of law and order. And I know some people, when you say law and order, that means, oh, we're going to go down on the black man. Whatever. That's not it. Okay? It has nothing to do with race. It has to do with laws established by the Congress that are upheld and that we live by those to make a better social order. I don't care what the color of your skin is. It doesn't matter. So justice is supposed to be blind to that. But somehow we've gotten into this different loosey-goosey form of justice that depending on what race you are or what religion you are, that makes you more or less viable in terms of your culpability in the law, and I don't know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I'm very concerned. And my word for this year is going to be reconciliation. I know this video is going a little longer than I had planned on it to, but my word for this year is going to be reconciliation. And if things, I'm looking through everything, I'm looking at everything through the lens of reconciliation. Whatever it is, BLM, white privilege, whatever, Donald Trump, Barack Obama, whatever they say, whatever philosophy comes my way or whatever I'm doing, I'm looking at it through the lens of reconciliation. And that is what we need in this country, not more finger pointing and fist waving and blaming and backstabbing and lying and making up stories and being somehow, phony racism or phony whatever. We don't need that. We need to bring this nation together. And that's going to be my mission, probably for the rest of my life, because I'm an old man and I'm not going to last that much longer, and I don't see it happen in the next 4 or 5 years. So there you go. That's all the news that is the news. That's not fake, because I'm real. Ouch, I'm real. I'm not dreaming. This is real. So thanks for watching. If you feel like it, go ahead and subscribe. I had a goal this starting in 2017. I'm going to start ramping up the videos, probably get to the point where I'm putting out at least one a day. Just kind of blurb my opinion, and this is the news about the news. It's my opinion of the news, and not necessarily the news, but the people who make the news. So that's my deal. Thanks for watching, and we're signing off. See you later.